What's up, Dodgers Nation? Today we are excited to welcome this guy to the show. He's an actor that's pretty much been in our hearts and in our homes all of his life for sure. From Forrest Gump's son to Cole, the boy medium, to Dr. Stu and Future Man. He's done just about everything, but most importantly, he's a fan of your Los Angeles Dodgers. So, you know him, you love him. He's seen dead people. He's seen walk-off home runs. Haley Joel Osment, what's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. It's nice to talk to you.
So we got to open with the golden standard here. It's the question everybody is asking everybody right now. How are you doing and how are you holding up?
I'm doing all right. I feel very fortunate, keep safe, and friends and family are safe right now. And I really don't have much to complain about compared to how serious this has gotten in a lot of parts of the country. So,
obviously there was kind of like a lead up with baseball being shut down and everything. And I think people started to read between the lines on a couple of different things. I mean, I don't know how long we're into this thing now, but has not having baseball during this time hurt you a little bit more than you thought it might?
absolutely. Yeah. And when there are hardships in life, normally baseball is something that can absorb some of how difficult that is. It's something to focus on and take your mind off of other things. And just the fact that not only is there no baseball, there is to distract, there's no sports, there's no events that aren't simply connected to the virus itself. So when you're catching up with people, it's really to struggle to find topics that aren't based completely around the crisis. Baseball has always been a great thing to catch up with friends on. So the last thing I did basically around other people was go to spring training the first couple of days of March. And while we were there, the news got really bad in the last day that we were there. And it looked like this was going to happen. And that took one last nervous flight home, I think on the 4th of March or something. And then since then, it's been total isolation. So, and I think that everybody who was there in Arizona or in Tampa that week got really lucky that there weren't outbreaks there, because it was starting to pop up all over the country in February before it had really made an impression in the news.
Yeah, I had just arrived at spring training the day it was shut down. So that was super for my part. Like, I picked the greatest weekend to go out and watch some baseball.
Yeah. When I saw it shut down, I sent him a text. I was like, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so for people who don't know, you're a big time Dodgers fan. You're at a lot of the games. We see you on the big screen all the time up there, or at least on the television broadcast. So as a guy born in LA, is that something that you were just born and raised into? Is that something that developed over time? How did you become a Dodger fan?
Yeah, I've always been a Dodger fan. My dad took me to games as a kid a long time ago, but it really went turbo. Well, I didn't really go turbo until college, because one of my best friends in high school, who I went to a lot of games with throughout high school, was an insane fan. One still in high school, he managed to go to every single game while we were in high school. And when I lived with this guy in New York in college, it was, the ritual to still keep up with every game, even though they would stretch on into the early hours of the morning on the East Coast. And that process has just grown and grown since. With spring training now, we've gone, I think, 8 or 9 years in a row. This group of about 10 to 20 friends from high school, and now their wives and a couple babies have been born, and they come to the expanding Airbnb situation. So it's really become just a bedrock of that community for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know, Clint, you kind of do a similar thing with your old friends too. That spring training seems to be a common theme for boys.
Yeah, we just a couple of people just added kids, so now we're waiting till they get to the point. It's like, all right, we're definitely going to start getting autographs at least out of people.
Yeah. Yeah, we're past the age to ask if you're holding a baby.
Nice.
So just giving Dodgers fans a little bit of a chance to get to know you a little bit, because this is how we're going to completely judge you based off your Dodgers fandom. We're not going to quiz you or anything like that, so don't worry about that. But looking at current Dodgers and past Dodgers, who was your favorite Dodger fan growing up? Who's your favorite Dodger fan, or who's your favorite Dodger?
Yeah.
Growing up, who's your favorite Dodger now?
Me and Andre Ethier have the same birthday. I don't know if that was a early connection that got me to him, but I loved Ethier. Loved Matt Kemp. his stolen MVP season.
Yep.
We've gotten used to a lot of things being stolen out from under this team. But yeah, and I mean, it's been incredible this recent generation of Dodgers, just how many very different personalities, but you all have, you have such a great, all these guys, but more laid back and fun, personalities, and guys who are just white hot intensity all the time. It's been incredible that's been able to coexist for, year after year after year titles. So
Yeah.
But I'd say
sure.
overall, Clayton Kershaw probably epitomizes the Dodgers for me in an era.
There you go.
Great answer.
It's a good
right
pick.
there.
It's a good pick.
Well, speaking of epitomizing Dodgers, we've had news we haven't really wanted. We've had Vin Scully in the news for kind of the wrong reasons, which has gotten us all thinking about our legend a whole lot more. Do you have any particular Vin Scully story that stands out to you, whether it's a moment, either meeting him or just a call, something he said in passing that really stands out for you?
I never got to meet him, but the final season that he called, I like everybody was, very sad to be losing that, because it was something that was almost, you took it for granted because he was just always there. That was the voice of the Dodgers every night coming home when, you could watch it on TV. I know there's been a tough years for some Dodgers.
Yeah.
And terribly, his last season, so much of LA wasn't able to watch it, which was terrible.
Yep.
But I made a point to find a way, listen to as many of those broadcasts as I could that year. And in the end of towards the end of the season in 2016, I was working a show in South Africa. So the games would happen they would start at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and go, until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I was coming home from work at like 7, immediately going to bed, waking up at 1 a.m. and then watching these broadcasts, which, unlike in LA, I could watch in South Africa because there was no blackout. So I saw the Culberson home run and all of those. It's just, his storytelling style. I think Joe has been a great addition and has is going to be a wonderful part of the Dodgers for many years. But there's just Vin had this style that can never be repeated because it requires you to have been in that business for 60 or 70 years.
Oh yeah.
The full Rolodex of Dodger information, and the fact that he can still recite it at any point in time was it's something we definitely terribly miss. But like you said, Joe Davis, you'll never go wrong with Joe D and Oral.
I love that relationship.
Yeah. They are truly fantastic. What about like any particular game that you've actually been to? I know you've been to road games. You don't just limit yourself to Dodger Stadium. The most iconic or just something that stood out for you game-wise that you've been at?
I saw Cody Bellinger's first home run, which was the same game that there was 3 home runs, and then gone with the dribbler up the middle. That sticks out, and just how wild that was. And then I saw Turner's walk off against the Cubs in Game 2 at Dodger Stadium. That one really. And that one I was sitting pretty close. So when you can, the times that you splurge on seats and you can see the facial expressions, you don't have to look up on the screen. It's just that I want to die. Those are very special. I have not seen a no-hitter, but this friend that I lived with in college is one of my best friends. He's seen 5.
5?
Wow.
Yeah, he saw the Matt Moore one. He saw the Kershaw one. He saw who also threw a no-hitter on the Dodgers the year that Kershaw did.
Josh Beckett.
Yeah.
He saw Beckett, which I think was a road game that my friend had.
Yeah, it was in Philly.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
There
was Jake Arrieta through that no at Dodger Stadium. I was lucky enough to be at that game, but we don't like to talk about that particular game.
A little different.
Well,
and I saw when Matt Moore almost had another one and Corey broke it up as the last.
Oh
yeah.
Yep.
That's right. Man, I miss baseball now.
Is that a good feeling to watch that get broken up, or were you kind of hoping for it a little bit?
Against any other team, you kind of Astros and Giants. You're like, I don't care. Like,
eat it.
I guess that's the closest I ever came to seeing one, and I do not care that I missed out.
That's good.
I mean, it's a better story that way, I think. It's like, I saw this one or this one. It's like, no, I saw it and it was broken up. Throw up middle fingers and just drive off.
There was one that wasn't important game in 2015 when they were on the road against the Mets, and I was one of the best I'd ever seen Kershaw pitch because he had a perfect game going through the bottom of the seventh.
Mm-hmm.
And then one friend of mine who had missed this game, you started going like, I think you're about to see something special. And I was like, stop texting me. Stop doing this right now. He's going, I think it's going to be a perfect game. And then Granderson had a little blue outfield that made Kershaw laugh because it was so absurd how weak a hit had broken it up.
Yeah.
But that sticks out to me as some of the best pitching I've ever seen.
You had kind of alluded to the Astros a little bit. We can't not talk about them with you because it seems to be a reoccurring theme that every Dodgers fan wants to talk about how upset you are about them.
Oh, yeah.
Which I feel that big time. What are your thoughts on the Astros? How do you feel about them? What have you taken away from this whole thing?
I don't really have a strong opinion about what should have been done on the MLB. And I just like the city council is like, they should the trophy. Like, no, you can't do that. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
You get a secondhand trophy. My opinion of it is that incredible season, lots of teams, regular season and postseason, has just been permanently tainted in a way that can't be fixed. And it's just one of those things that you have to shake. I mean, and now I haven't really read into the Red Sox report as much as the Astros one, but it seems like back-to-back years. And the Red Sox one seems so stupid because we were so injured that year. It seemed like a miracle we were there at all. Permanently write the Red Sox off because it's a long history, but I'm done with the Astros.
Well, we had someone on Twitter. We put out a feeler last minute, like, hey, anybody want something to tell this guy? We're gonna go talk to him right now. And somebody asked on Twitter if you can get Robert Duvall to kick the Astros' asses like he did those punks in Secondhand Lions.
He deserved a talking to, didn't they? Yeah, we weren't too far from Houston when we shot that movie.
Yeah.
Could have caught him at the right age. I was about 14 then. They were in those formative years. They needed a talking to, didn't they?
That's great.
That's great. That's a quality question. You got to thank that guy for that one on Twitter later.
I haven't used my soundboard yet. I'll throw in some points.
I mean, it looks like from what we can tell, it's really hard to judge it at this point. There's like 1,000 different rumors that have come out about what they might be doing for baseball. But at the end of the day, it looks like baseball might be coming back eventually. Probably will be coming back in some weird, strange form. But with that in mind, what are you most looking forward to about this new revamped, new look team?
I mean, I think they might be the strongest they've been in this era. I mean, it's possible. There's so many – it's baseball, so there's a lot of unknowns and things about health and everything. But I saw Price pitch in spring training just once, but he looked great. Mookie's such an exciting player. It would be really on brand, though, if we somehow missed out on a year of 2 MVPs.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think would be cool for baseball. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, so many of the ideas seem absurd that they're going to like quarantine the whole league in Arizona or something. Like I haven't seen the updated rules they've proposed, but if they can do it safely, if there's enough testing, I think being able to watch baseball would be a godsend, obviously, for millions of people, tens of millions of people.
Big time, myself included, big time.
You just need something to come home to that isn't, in my industry that, there's still stuff in the pipeline of stuff that's still to be released and stuff to broadcast. But I think by the end of the year, they will run out of things that are new shows.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a freeze. Sports and media, there's just nothing new coming out.
You're like, now what?
Watch and catch up on it.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be on the reruns, and it's like, okay, there's only so far I can take this. I really think baseball, it's the only sport that makes the most sense to come back before there is the least amount of contact. It just makes sense. We need it. It happened in 2001. We spoke about it not too long ago, where it was kind of that way of showing people, hey, we can come back from this. We can get back to some sense of normalcy. And even if it's not going to be the same game, which it definitely won't be, showing people there is hope with a stick and a ball and a glove. I'm all for that.
Absolutely. And it's probably, next year or longer till we'll be sitting in a stadium again. But I do keep hope alive. Good that will feel to walk back into that stadium.
What are your thoughts on those renovations going on at the stadium?
I like them. I haven't seen them in person or anything. I have been terrified my entire adult life that someone is going to – well, first I was afraid that when the Angels lease was up, they're going to cram them into the stadium together and call it like Disney Gulch or something, and we have to share it with So I'm glad that hasn't happened. But I like that they're able to do something that will be a completely new perspective for fans in the outfield and allow you to walk around the entire without changing levels. But it doesn't ruin the profile.
But I know when they started doing renovations on it, me and Clint were both like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do. Don't ruin the stadium. It's such a classic stadium. Don't touch it. And then when we kind of saw it start to take shape, we were like, okay, that's cool. I don't have to walk all the way to the top deck to get in when I'm parked in left field. So that's great. I'll take it.
And the food and drink stuff they've done has expanded into the parking lot. It hasn't like disrupted inside the stadium so much.
Yeah.
God knows they have enough parking lot space to do all kinds of stuff. With the All-Star game, I was hoping that they'd be able to, everybody knows it's hard and near impossible to drive in and out of Dodger Stadium. But even if you do the walking shortcut down to Sunset, there's still not really a good connection the way that other stadiums have. You can go from a bar right across the street in. And I thought the All-Star game could sort of bridge that a little bit if they build something in some of the parking lot spaces.
Right.
Well, maybe when it comes back in 2022, because it's not happening now.
They better not pass over us. Yeah,
I know. It's been 40 years, please. All right, man. Well, before we let you go, we had to kind of give you a little bit of a rapid fire, some of, some this or that, whatever, just Dodger Stadium related stuff or Dodgers related stuff. Leading off, this one is usually pretty easy, but Dodger Dog grilled or steamed?
Oh, grilled.
Okay.
Can I interrupt the rapid fire? I read an article in 91 that talked about fans' rage after grilled hot dogs replaced by boiled hot dogs. They had done this revamp with like TCBY treats and it totally changed all the concessions, and people flipped out because the hot dogs were all boiled or something instead of.
A classic moment in history.
Dodger fans rampage over hot dogs. It's like,
that's the type of thing we can be mad about. That's fine. Let us have that. You got a favorite ballpark beverage?
I guess the Michelada at Dodger Stadium. Probably shouldn't be $27, but it tastes good.
We've had a lengthy conversation this offseason about how much I would love to buy a $27 Michelada right now.
And
no problem.
Along with that, how many it would take to keep Mookie Betts in Dodger blue beyond this season? All right, I have to buy how many did you come up with, Brooke? It was
I think it's 12 million Micheladas that I have to buy or something. It's a lot.
3 million people in Los Angeles who just like to drink.
And we're proud of you.
I'm working on it. I'm doing my part. As long as we can get baseball started again, I'll buy my 4.
So this one is purely matter of opinion. What is the best Dodger walk-up song of all time?
Mariachi Loco, Adrian Gonzalez.
Good call.
Oh, easy pick.
That just sounds like the Dodgers to me.
Oh, big time. Alternatively, do you have a worst walk-up song of all time?
Someone used to do weird ones, and I think if I played baseball, I would choose bizarre soundtrack or jingles and stuff just to unsettle people. I'm not really some frequencies, but no beat. Like, I don't know. I guess nobody's really face planted on those.
That's good. That's always good to have. I've never been a particular
Baby
fan.
Shark. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Shark,
oh yeah.
Dodger.
Oh no. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we got to get rid of that. Get that out of baseball. Yeah, we really got to get that out of baseball.
What's
your stance on the wave?
Not lead 5 runs and we're batting or something. Never when we're pitching. It always seems to happen at the top of the 6th in a really important situation. And I'm not against, it's great when the fans get into it, but like know the game situation. Like, and the people that instigate it should know in the bleachers. Like, wait until appropriate. Like, come on.
Well, that guy has had just his right. He hit the full level.
Before Michelada.
The Michelada level, and he's like, guys, I have a great idea. Hey, everybody.
He said, I know we're pitching, but it's time.
Come on, they're about to close the bars. Let's do it now.
There you go. I think this is the final one. Put yourself in our seats, by which we mean we sit in the left field pavilion a lot of time. You choose left field pavilion or the top deck?
That's really hard. I truly believe there's merits for every section in that stadium.
Absolutely.
I sat in the very top row, way up there, and had fun. I'll go with left field pavilion because you're kind of in with the hardcore fans a little bit more. But it's crazy because it's such a steep angle down there from a lot of the upper decks, and I enjoy that. It's an interesting way to watch, particularly if you're keeping score.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're up there in top deck, and everything's a home run too.
Yeah.
Popped up to the catcher.
I spent most of my life sitting in left field pavilion, and I've pretty much learned to judge every ball that comes off the bat. And then I sat one game last year in the top deck for like the first time in probably 10 years, and I was like, I don't know what's happening during this game anymore.
What is my life? All right, man. Well, we appreciate your time. We're not a huge fan of your Wi-Fi. Gave us some
I'm sorry. I hope it was intelligible.
No, you're good.
It's all good, man. But let the people know. I got two things for you. Let the people know what you're working on, and if there's anything you'd like to tell the good people of Dodgers Nation, now's your time.
Sure. Right now, I just was in the season premiere of What We Do in the Shadows, which is on FX and Hulu, which is a lot of fun. I have a film called Bad Therapy with Rod Corddry that just came out, which is on iTunes and other streaming things. And to the Dodger Nation, just say, stay strong, keep hope alive. I believe it's the best fan base in all of sports. Been Dodger Stadium, and I've traveled with Dodger fans to opposing stadiums, and I love that spirit. So I know it's a hard, but look forward to getting to Dodger Stadium with you.
Haley Joel Osment, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Great talking to you guys. Take care.
Thank you, man.